God forbid any of us find ourselves in these positions, especially when talking about the brethren, that we find ourselves in this position right here, trying to tell people, now don't get me wrong, if somebody's sinning, you're supposed to tell them, hey, that's wrong with God, don't do that. You're supposed to do that. You're required to do that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when things happen in people's lives that you think you know better. You think you know why it's happening, we have no clue. That happens not just here, but across America, everywhere. Can you imagine? Everybody's always the first one to say, I know what your problem is. I know what your problem is. Not here, this is what God says about it, how can I help? But I know what your problem is, and I know exactly what your problem is, probably because of this, this, and this. That's right. I bet you. Yep. That's what we do. That's what we do. We're a bunch of Job's friends. We have no concern about the real issue. We just have a concern of what our own thought is concerning them. We're, I don't know what the best word to put with that, so I'll just leave that one alone. But bottom line is, that's how we are. We have a lack of concern for the lost. We have a lack of concern for saved people. But instead of having a real concern, we have our own personal reasons on why we act like we're concerned. We just want to tell them instead of help. We have a more of a tell them attitude than a can I help you somehow attitude. Is there something I can do instead of, hey, I'm going to beat you down. Oh, look, he's on the ground. Kick him while he's down. No. That's wrong with God. That'll never be God honoring, ever. Ever. You don't do that. You just don't do that. We have a lack of concern for our brethren. And it's been said before, you know, if you were to call somebody in the middle of the night, who would show up? If you really needed something in the middle of the night, and you say something happened, and you needed 10 people to get together and pray right then and there, how many's going to do it? How many people can you rely on to call right now at 2:30 in the morning and say, brother, sister, I need prayer. This is happening right now. I need the men of God, the women of God to get together and pray right now. Or else my fate could be determined. Who would do it? Anybody? It's a helpless feeling, don't you think? When Christians today have gotten to the point in life where they feel like they turn to Christ, don't get me wrong, but they have no other people that are so-called Christians to even care or concerned about what they're going through. Now Jesus, he was concerned with the lost. I know Christians today, they say they have concern, but they prove it in different ways for the lost. But Christ was concerned for the lost. And in Matthew 9, 35 through 38, Matthew 9, 35 through 38. And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion. Maybe that's the word right there. We lack compassion. Maybe that's it. That's the word. That's what you could call it. The lack of concern is actually really a lack of compassion. But when he saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then saith he unto the disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into the harvest. You know, Christ has always had a concern for the lost people. That's his whole ministry. That's why he died. He died for the lost. He needs workers. Where are they now? He needs workers all across America. We have missionaries that travel all over the place. But again, I say, where are the workers for your neighborhoods? Where are the workers for your job? Where are the workers for anything else? It's you know why? And this is not everybody. You know why we support a lot of missionaries? It's to get the word out across the country. But I can't help but think that some people in churches, not here necessarily, but other churches too, the reason they do that is that's the easy way out. That's the easy way out. So we can pay money and send people and feel good about ourselves. We put all this money into missions. We send them and that's a good thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking that. That's what we should be doing. But I'm simply saying I feel like across churches that's the easy way out. Because see, by doing that, we don't have to go walk the streets because we feel like we did our part already. We feel like we did our good deed to help God's people and to help the lost in other countries because we just gave them money and passed it on and made somebody else do it. And all the while, we'll be taking out our pocketbooks and be like, okay, here's $100, put it down. That goes to missions, but we won't spend $5 walking across the street, or we won't get $10 to the bum to witness to him on the street and take him to dinner. Go buy him a McDonald's burger. For God's sake, go buy a McDonald's burger and sit there and give him a tract and talk to him about Christ. But we'll take all our money and put it in other places. You know part of the reason why America's going down the toilet right now? Because there's no mission here. There's few here in between, but most of our mission goes overseas now. And all the while, that's what people's done. They put it out everywhere. But here in America, we failed. We're falling. This country is crashing and burning as we speak. And nobody wants to go out to do anything about it. Christ had a big concern for the lost. And that's what he did. He even says, the harvest is truly plenteous. Up and down every one of these streets, bar none, there's probably maybe 25% of the people saved with that. That's just a guesstimate. Why are we out knocking the doors? Why are we out, visitation? Why are we, doing all these different things that my ad we used to do? Oh, ouch. Oh, we did. We used to do. That's the key word. Used to. Used to. What do we do now? We used to. Why not now? Is not the world even worse now than what it was then when we used to? Used to? Man, used to. Think about that. We used to. A lot of used tos in America across this entire world in the churches. There's a lot of they used to do this and a lot of used to do that no longer exist. And we wonder why our country is the way it is. We wonder why our streets are the way they are, our kids, our families, because we're a bunch of used to Christians now. And the Bible talks about a great falling away. It's happening. Yeah. We're a bunch of used tos. Lack of concern. A major decline in churches because of the lack of concern. And I'm going to have to go one more point, and I'm going to have to be done for now. Lack of vision for the future is another hindrance to the house of God. Proverbs 29:18. Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keeps the law happy is he. Where there's no vision, the people perish. I'll go back to this building again. We built this new building. It's great. I'm glad. It's a beautiful building, debt-free building. It's awesome. But what are we going to do to fill those classrooms? Again, that building does nothing for nobody but stand there. If it's raining, you can get out the rain. It gives you, like I said, a table to eat at for donuts and fellowship. But where's the vision? Where there is no vision, the people perish. There's small churches like this one all across America. They're disappearing. Why? For this reason right here. There's no vision of the future. There's no work being done to build upon that future. And it's because we're complacent Christians. And it's because we're comfortable with what we have right now. Because undoubtedly when we get bus kids, they misbehave, they act up. When you get strangers that come off the streets, especially in this neighborhood, man, there's some real weird people out there. Especially everywhere, but especially this neighborhood, a lot of druggies, a lot of everything. So there's going to be some weird people walk through these doors. Where's the vision for the future? Let me ask you this. 5 or 10 years from now, say Pastor Hodges is more than likely will no longer be here. It's a real possibility, right? Christ doesn't come back. What if he passes away next 10 years, right? Where are we at? Where are we at? If Pastor Hodges is no longer here, where do we go from here? Have you ever noticed over the last few years, more and more pews are just like that one? Nothing. Empty. Absolutely empty. I could go talk to it and it'll echo back at me because there's nothing there. Same over here. And everywhere, if you notice, pews are getting less and less and less. Where's our vision for the future? As a church and as a people, where's it at? John 4:34-6. Or John 4:34-36. It says, Jesus saith unto him, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, but then cometh the harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look. Lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already, the harvest. And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. Clearly says there, lack of the future, lack of vision there, clearly says, hey, don't sit there and say, hey, I still got time. Don't sit there and say, hey, as this verse says, yeah, there are yet 4 months left to go. No, quit waiting. Quit waiting. You can't just continue to sit here and wait. Now's the time of harvest. You know, Christ, all the signs there of Christ coming back, all of them. I mean, just about every sign of the Lord's return is in place currently. You might not even have 4 months to get your lost loved ones in here. You might not have 4 months to get the people down the street in church, to get kids from apartment complexes in here. Heck, even if you live another 10 years, and Christ doesn't come back, and you die in 5 years, that's still not enough time. Start now. Don't wait. Do it now. Now. Here and now. We call that procrastination right there. When it says, say not ye, there are yet 4 months, that's called procrastination. That's like put it off to another day. Just wait till later. Well, that's the lack of vision I'm talking about right there. Oh, we'll just wait and put it off down the road. Kick the can down the road a little further. Lack of vision. Lack of future. You know, can't you have noticed people here are getting older? I'm no spring chicken. I'm not super old either, but I'm no spring chicken either. But people are getting old. They're getting older. Time passes on. Who's going to guarantee me that, and y'all don't take this the wrong way, but like Donna, Sherry, Doug, and Nellie, my parents, even Pastor and their age, who's going to guarantee me 10 years from now that those pews are still going to be full and they haven't went on to be with Christ our Savior yet? Anybody can tell me beyond a shadow of a doubt that we got time to bring more people in to get this church going further? If they're not here, say they gone. How small is it going to be then? Where's the people? It's the lack of vision and lack of future. It's procrastination. And not only so, the fields are white with harvest. White with harvest. Ready and prime. You know when people ask questions? There's so many questions going around right now. You got Ukraine, you got Israel, you got all these different things. People ask questions. We should be ready to bring them in. Tell them, yeah, come to church. Then witness to them right there on the spot. Bring them into church. Get them coming. Now, I believe there are certain ways to do that and certain ways not to do that. That can be discussed at a later time. But that's not for this message. That's not the purpose of this message. There are certain ways to bring people in. There are certain ways not to do that. But the bottom line is, we don't have a lot of time left to do that. And it's part of what's destroying God's house in the church is the lack of vision and future to come. And it says in 36, and I'll stop there. And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal. See, the beautiful thing about all this is it's not that it brings necessarily rewards here and now, although it does. Ask my father-in-law about that. Ever since he became a missionary and did his thing, God's blessed him beyond measure. So it does bring rewards now too. But the Bible says it gathers fruit unto life eternal. Eternal reward for having a purpose and for being in God's house, for using God's house for the right reason, getting people in here and producing fruit in God's house has eternal rewards and always will. And it even says that he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. Together. When it's all over said and done, that we can all be gathered together and we can all rejoice. Think of all the sowers throughout history. All of them. Man, a lot of them wrote this Bible right here. Think of all the people who sold it throughout the years. You know, all the missionaries, all the preachers, all the pastors, all the teachers. And everyone be able to reap together in heaven when we stand before God. We can all rejoice together of the reapings, the sower and the reaper. All together. The saved and the ones that got saved because of another saved person that loves the Lord. On top of that, we can all rejoice together when Christ comes back. And I will stop there. So, if you would, bow your heads and then I'll pray. Father, we thank you.